reason why a Stanford is a Stanford, but an IIT is only known in India?
Aside from the branding, it's the quality of the teaching and the professors.
Okay.
First of all, you are
So you're
learning,
saying that the US professors in Stanford are better than the Indian professors in IIT?
because they're more aware of what is going on in industry.
Okay.
Stanford is a very industry-oriented school. Many of the people who teach are professors, are actually work in these companies.
Got it.
And they come and teach you. So you learn the latest stuff when it comes to, say, VLSI design or to computer architecture. And that's what makes Stanford so much better. I mean, a lot of professors from IIT are great. Some of them have done their PhDs outside. But the problem is they're not in touch with the latest developments in industry. And the students also themselves, many have started companies on their own. And as a result, there is an ecosystem of cool things happening, and you're completely aware of what is going on.
Is that academics has been one of the biggest driver of your success so far in getting into all the world-class universities? But just earlier you also mentioned that you don't believe in academic grades as the only driver of success, although your own personal story has been driven by academic success. So why do you say that? Like, what other pathways do you think are available for the youngsters today, specifically in India, to reach the kind of success that you have reached?
So the reason I say that is twofold. One is it's been a driver where it has opened opportunities for me, but I haven't used any of the learnings. What I actually learned at Caltech or Stanford, I have never used in my life.
Really?
I had to, learn everything from. It was, even had I not had all of that, I could have done the same thing.
But you still got a good job, right? Like, what was your first job out of Stanford?
Apple computer.
So getting into Apple is not easy, right? You need to come from a good college.
Yeah.
So from that regard, don't you say academics is still important?
It is important, but it is not important in today's day and age.
Can you elaborate?
I'll tell you why. I mean, one is there has been a proliferation and availability of information, thanks to YouTube, thanks to ChatGPT,
right?
Thanks to everything that is available on the internet, Coursera, Works. Knowledge is available for free.
Yeah.
And especially in the age of AI, the traditional systems of education are becoming more and more irrelevant.
And when you mean traditional, you're also referring to colleges like Caltech and Stanford.
Yes, okay. Including those.
Your company, you sold it to Microsoft for $400 million. What I'm interested to know about is the lessons of negotiation. And negotiation is so important in today's world, not just in selling your company, but also in as simple as negotiating a good salary or maybe climbing up the corporate ladder, right? People don't know how to talk to negotiate for themselves. As someone who has sold your company for $400 million to Bill Gates, what are your golden piece of advice for negotiating well for your personal benefit?
First step of negotiation is put yourself in the shoes of the person you're negotiating with. The moment you try to make it adversarial, like you say the price of this is 9, but I say it's 11, you will lose the negotiation. Always. First rule is, what does the person you're negotiating with want from, and how can my work or my company's work add or benefit that company?
Basically aligning my request with your incentives. What is your incentive? Understanding that first, and then try to negotiate.
And just keep for a moment, especially in the high-tech world, keep the dollar value out of it. Can 1 + 1 make more than 2? Which is, as a small company, Hotmail, if we merge with Microsoft, can our combined vision be greater? Can Microsoft offer more distribution to us? And obviously, Microsoft has a hole in what they're doing. So can we fill that and make them more successful? As opposed to never try to reach a point or a way of thinking where it becomes adversarial. Treat the person you're negotiating with as a friend, not as a business adversary.
What else?
Number 2, have no ego.
Okay.
Don't ever
That's hard.
say something where you think you are the better, you are outsmarting. No, go in with utmost humility. You will always arrive at the right answer when you approach every negotiation with humility.
Got it.
And 3, make sure that the relationship is not a transactional relationship. It is a long-term relationship. It's a long-term marriage. That's one thing I find incredibly wrong with people who negotiate in India. If there is a certain this thing, they try to take the whole thing, the whole pie. I mean,
People in India.
yeah. And I think that's wrong.
Can you give an example of what you've seen in India?
Every deal in India seems to be, people seem to be very happy if they get a one-sided deal.
Right.
They think they have outsmarted the other one, but they
Yeah.
have not. They have actually killed both the prospects. There is so much more that you can get when two go in with full partnership to say,
Yeah.
hey, it's not just 50-50, let's make it 500.
Right. According to you, what does the future look like where there are opportunities to be, exploited, where I can make a lot of money or, great experiences?
This whole area of AI and what you can do with AI that
Okay.
can solve some problem and that can make humanity better. And I was like, this is amazing. What can we do with AI? Not just doing whatever ChatGPT and answering a few letters or writing stuff. I started playing around and I used AI to create all these videos on entrepreneurship. And then I used and modified by doing the right kind of prompt engineering to test people and their intelligence, their creativity, their out-of-box thinking.
By
I'm like-
using what is the input? The video
Using
resume?
their video responses. So what I do is I interview them in the form of a verbal interview like this, but I'm digitized. My
Okay.
questions are digitized.
Okay, you are an AI.
I am an AI, but I just record myself. I'm real. I just
Okay.
record myself, but it's a Zoom-like interview
Okay.
where they're asked for their responses.
Okay.
And based on their responses and their pauses and how they do it and their facial movements, AI can tell one if they are recounting from memory or if their ideas are original. And then it tests those ideas and it says, it comes back with a response on originality, out-of-box thinking, creativity. That is true intelligence. And I'm saying that in the next few years, when companies will hire, they will no longer look at where you got a degree from, because they're not looking for those skills anymore. That's why they're laying off people the world over.
Yeah.
They will be looking for these creative individuals. The problem with the entire system of Indian education, it's rigged. People don't study to learn. People study to get to ace an exam. I'm like, you've learned nothing. And I was part of that too. I mean,
Right.
I should be accused of what I'm saying, but I'm admitting it. That I went through high school studying this history of Panipat, this thing, that thing, memorized every damn date and regurgitated. Do I remember any of it? No. So what use is that education? But if somebody asks me, imagine yourself in that battle. What strategy did the two sides use? Why did one side win versus the other? Now that is critical thinking. That is interesting way of looking at the same thing.
Right.
And I'm saying that those skills will be required, are very much in demand. People who can imagine a future, who are artistic in nature, those people will be required more than programmers. In our time, if you could do coding, you get a job. C, C++, Python, XYZ, whatever. All that computers will do. Today somebody will say, hey, what if I could create an app that did this, that solved this problem, or that made the world interesting. Those ideas come from creative people, artists who can imagine things and draw them. not from people who can just repeat and regurgitate.
But do you think this particular skill set of, creative thinking or strategic thinking, do you think that is something that you're born with or something that can be developed?
First of all, some people are naturally gifted with it, no question.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us, we can become more creative by just being more aware of what is going on in the environment. Just being aware of everything. Being open to all kinds of possibilities. I see it in my 9-year-old kid. We go skiing and he say, Papa, you have a hard time turning these skis. What if we made electric skis? That's an interesting idea. That is what is required for true innovation. And especially in a country like India, where its greatest asset today is its intellectual capital. It has to be channeled correctly though. We kill it when we only say you are smart because you can regurgitate all the answers and you get 10 out of 10. And that other kid who's dyslexic but who imagines things in class, who gets only a 4, that guy's an idiot. No. That's the mistake we are making as a society, as a culture, as a country.
Look at my classroom. If I look at all the students that I studied with, the backbenchers of the people who used to bully and rag and the miscreants, I'm seeing them also becoming successful. And they were always thinking out of the box. They always liked to be the rebels because they didn't want to conform to a particular system, and even today they are successful.
I also will challenge you on when you use the word successful. Only Indians use this word successful, meaning
when
your
I mean
financial.
money, yeah.
All my friends who are non-Indian do not think success is money. 100 out of 100 say success is when they have found their true calling in life. If they are piano teachers, that they can play the piano all day long and teach kids, they find that to be successful. If they are sportsmen, if they are participating in sports in any form, either playing it or being part of a baseball team,
Yeah.
it's never money. All these wonderful people are so happy in their lives because they do what they like doing. Perhaps your calling in life is to do a podcast like this to get into people's minds. That has got nothing to do with what you studied.
Yeah.
And because our societies are evolving, where obviously the internet and social media are an essential component of our lives, finding that niche that makes you happy is more important. And our parents are to blame for this. Use the word success. What is success? Happiness is success. Money is not success. But we live in a have-not society, an aspirational society. We have to show to the other people we have more than them, and we think that is success.
If you find this video inspiring, do not forget, like, share, and subscribe AIXPro.invideos.